When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 65 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley. Here with Greg Hansen. Greg, new U of A president, Dr. Robert Robbins.
Oh, they call him Bobby.
Bobby?
Yep.
Can I call him Bobby? Can I call you Bobby? I can. Okay, good. Bobby talked to the Arizona Republic on Tuesday and said basically, Ohio State can come get Sean Miller over my dead body. That is uncharted territory for U of A presidents. The last few have been sort of sports friendly, but maybe not sports fans. This guy strikes me, Greg, as somebody very different.
You know, in the history of U of A athletics, they've had one actively pro sports president, John Schaefer, who pulled the strings to get Arizona out of the WAC and into the Pac-10, dragging ASU in with them.
Right.
He laid the tar for Arizona to become a bigger league. And Bobby Robbins, from everything I've heard, is in the same group.
I mean, that's one of the reasons. I mean, if I remember correctly, the job that he had, or he is sort of the president of the medical school, between Baylor and Texas?
And A&M?
And A&M or something like that, actually had more employees than the U of A does.
Yeah.
And he was printing money in that job. One of the reasons you take a university president job, for all the headaches it entails, is to be able to have a team, right?
Oh, I'll bet he's on the front row at McHale most of the time.
Right.
You know, he had an interview on his first day of work last week, and I think he ended the interview by talking about beating Houston in football. Really?
I know. I mean, Ann Weaver Hart, say what you will about Ann Weaver Hart. You think Ann Weaver Hart knew who was on Arizona's non-conference schedule year to year?
For sports people in Tucson, this is very encouraging because now they've got a new athletic director who apparently is good, and a pro sports president, Bobby Robbins. They haven't coupled that for almost ever. Right.
To me, what's interesting, first of all, Sean Miller, I don't think, was ever going to go to Ohio State.
No.
No. Right? I mean, we can all, I'm talking to you people here. Stop it with the tweeting. He's not going anywhere. It's not that good a job. To me, the story is not him saying that. It's him coming out very abashedly for Sean Miller, coming out and basically saying, I will do whatever it takes to keep good coaches. That is not something a university president necessarily does.
Over my dead body.
Over my dead body. I mean, Peter Likens was pro-sports, but he was also pro sort of cost control. Ann Weaver Hart, same kind of thing. I think she was pro-Greg Byrne.
Yes.
And Greg Byrne made the decisions. In this case, for the university president to know enough to get involved is telling.
I don't think there will be a period again under Bobby Robbins like there was from like 2000 to 2010 where nothing was built.
Right.
This will get done now.
Right. What is the first thing that needs to get done?
Wow. This isn't the first thing, but Greg Byrne told me they needed $12 million to redo the swimming plant. $12 million?
What?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what my reaction was. What?
Pools aren't cheap.
No.
That chlorine's expensive.
So, well, it's got to be football related.
Sure. I would say softball. I think if you looked at, and we were talking off camera, I mean, Oklahoma won a national championship last night with a lot of players from Southern California. Those are players who you don't go to Norman, Oklahoma for the weather or no offense to the academics. I mean, there's nothing attractive to that program outside the fact that they've won and they have a very impressive facility. If you're Arizona, you got to match that, don't you?
Hillenbrand, you know, it's kind of got this romantic feeling to it, and I love it when I sit there, but it's 1993 there.
Right, right.
And now Mike Candrea says it's $5 million.
Right, and it's a lot of the stuff. I mean, some of the stuff is fan amenity stuff, and then that'd be nice. But you could probably fix it up for fans for like $1 million, right? Like chairbacks and maybe some awnings.
I think you got to go all the way with five.
Five? But if you go to, I'm saying the stuff that Candrea wants too is stuff that really only their athletes could tell is good. Does that make any sense?
Sure.
Batting cages, practice facilities, locker room improvements, the kinds of things that high school kids look for when they visit a place. I'm not sure Arizona has that now. I mean, the Lappin Family Center is an improvement on what they had, but what they had before that was nothing.
But the only facility in the Pac-12 that's better is Oregon's new one.
Right.
Arizona still, even though it's the same as 1993,
Right.
basically, still is better than all the other teams.
Right. You go, UCLA plays at like a field.
Yeah.
It's the difference between a field and a stadium.
Yeah. And ASU's is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But it'll be interesting to see. Certainly, Bobby Robbins, like the athletic director, Dave Hickey, inherits no shortage of problems, but it seems like they seem like two guys who might get along pretty well.
Two guys who'll dig into the batter's box and take their hacks.
Be very interesting
Yeah.
to see. That'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, all right, what was the biggest, oh my God, Lute Olson might leave story ever?
Oh, twice to Kentucky. Dick Vitale during the Final Four gets on TV at halftime and goes, Lute Olson is the next head coach at Kentucky. And all the TV stations in town drove right to this office because they blamed it on the Star for him leaving.
Okay.
That's another story.
That's another story. Oh, they didn't come down here to see what you thought?
No, that was when we fired 2 people that day.
That's a different episode. I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.